In this video, we cover how to target a true supreme species of the shore, the infamous tarpon. We'll first show you which shorelines in the U.S. Atlantic tarpon are found. We'll then talk ideal tarpon conditions, followed by some casting tips and critical key methods to help ensure you successfully land your catch. We'll then show you an ideal tackle setup for the species, followed by a guide on tarpon baits. So where can we find Atlantic tarpon? This species is very much an east and south coast species, found as far north as Virginia, reaching all the way down the coast to Florida. They are also found throughout the Gulf Coast, including West Florida and Louisiana, reaching all the way round to Texas. So which kinds of conditions should you be looking for? Tarpon are highly migratory and will first appear along the southern coast from Texas to Florida between April to May. It's this southern Gulf Coast that will give you the best chance in landing one, the peak season being between May to July. They won't tend to be found along the Atlantic stretches on the east coast until well into summer due to cooler water temperatures. They will leave for southern or deeper waters by November at the latest along the southern coast. This will be sooner still for the eastern coastlines. They will not tolerate overly colored water and prefer good water clarity. This is one reason to avoid targeting them during rough seas, which is when they are also more likely to simply stay offshore. Calm sea conditions are what we need. It's due to water clarity that it's also wise to avoid fishing in and around estuaries after heavy rains. Tarpon, like many top predators, use lower light levels to their advantage and will feed most readily during sunrise and sunset. Now, if you really want to land this species, there are some important points you need to know. You can catch them along the open coast, including bay areas. They are also caught within estuaries and isolated lagoons. Tarpon love warm, shallow water, and it's for this reason that the shallow tidal flats are a top venue to choose. Casting near to sandbars or along channel inclines will put your bait near where tarpon may be harrying baitfish. They use this structure to their advantage. Though they often feed on migratory baitfish moving inshore at key times of the year, they also love food-rich intertidal areas such as seagrass beds, which contain plenty of prey close to the shore throughout all of their season. Sight casting is a common method used on the flats. Remember that tarpon spook easily, so try to cast just ahead of them. Alternatively, you can simply cast to features. It's important to set the drag so the tarpon can run, but with enough resistance that the rod can pull against the fish. Do not strike if using circle hooks. Simply allow the fish to take the bait. Alter your drag as required and hold the rod firm at a 45-degree angle. It is only required to strike into a fish species if using J-hooks. The rod itself must be used to tire the fish to ensure it doesn't spool you or take forever to land. You should always be pulling against the fish when it is submerged in the water. Tarpon will breach the water in an attempt to throw the hook. This is something you need to be prepared for at all times. The first jump is often one of the most rapid. As soon as the fish jumps out, it's important to point your rod tip down to produce slack on the line. This prevents the fish from using the leverage of a tight line. Equally as important, you must ensure you raise the rod tip again instantly and wind any slack as soon as the fish resubmerges underwater. When keeping rod pressure on the fish, it pays to alternate the angle of pull from left to right. This helps disorientate and tire the fish more quickly. After the fish has used up a good amount of energy in the first phase of the fight, it's wise to gradually tighten the drag. This will help to drain its remaining energy reserves more rapidly. When unhooking larger-sized tarpon, we highly suggest keeping the fish in the water while this is done and support the weight of the fish while it recovers. This improves survival rates, as large tarpon are more prone to dying after becoming exhausted. In many places, tarpon are strictly catch and release, so as ever, always check the local guidelines of anywhere you plan to fish. Whether a legal requirement or not, catch and release will help ensure large-sized specimens of any species will exist in better numbers. So now for a quick rundown on tackle. A medium to heavy power fast action rod will be a great choice for any distance casting we may require and will allow us to lay on extra power to wear the fish out faster. We suggest using a spinning or fixed spool reel between size 6,000 to 8,000, as tarpon are known to take line. A reel that can hold 250 meters of line is a good minimum. You can use either mono or braid for mainline. Braid will provide extra line to prevent you being spooled out during the fight, but mono will provide some extra stretch as the fish thrashes in the water. If you wish to use mono, stick to lines above 18 pounds breaking strain and take extra care to set the drag after casting. A good choice of braid would be heavier up to around 50 pounds. A mono casting leader will handle the heavy rig and provide abrasion resistance. Use a tapered leader if using braid. This prevents wind nuts. Remember, the strength of the leader should be 10 pounds per ounce of casting weight. A pyramid sinker between 5 ounces to 8 ounces in weight will allow us to distance cast and match the casting weight of the rod. Only go as heavy as you need to prevent the fish feeling excessive resistance as it takes the bait. Tarpon have abrasive mouths as well as plated gill covers, so it's wise to use hook-length leaders that are abrasion resistant. Fluorocarbon is the go-to choice, and some anglers even use wire leaders, especially in waters of lower visibility. Added leader length will prevent the fish being spooked by the sinker. The breaking strain should ideally be a minimum of 60 pounds. It is highly recommended to use circle hooks as they will hook into the corner of the mouth and are less likely to be shaken out by any head thumps. Single hooks can be used for small baits and twin hook setups for large baits, so it's good to have an option for choice on the day. So which baits are suitable for tarpon? Tarpon can be targeted using live baits or even artificial lures, though as this video covers baits presented on the bottom, we will focus on dead baits. Tarpon can take both small or large fish baits. Ideal small fish baits include whole herring, sardine, or glass minnow baits. Large cut baits are probably the most ideal for bottom fishing as they give added scent attraction, a top example being ladyfish with its high oil content. Finger mullet and threadfins are also popular baits. Looking for diving birds can help indicate which size bait to use. If small birds are diving, then this indicates small bait fish. Larger birds will be feeding on larger fish. Other baits that work well include shrimp baits, as well as crab baits such as blue crab and pass crabs, which tarpon feed on heavily in the warm inshore shallows. If you'd like to know how to target red drum, striped bass, or bluefish, check out the links showing now. Don't forget to subscribe to stay notified of new videos. Also be sure to check out the channel page to browse through our full selection of tutorials. We hope to see you again soon.